podcast listeners, we are back, Andy and Drew, with episode 46 of the What's Up Castleberry podcast. Welcome. Andy and I are Castleberry residents and local pastors who desire to have casual conversations on this podcast for the good of the people of Castleberry about Castleberry-related issues, and we love to include guests and friends involved in and around Castleberry. Andy, Robin, welcome. We've had the reindeer run this weekend, the Santa run with the Santa going around, the fire truck all around town. The weather's in the 40s and 50s. You might even say it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas.
It sure is. And Drew, I'm loving your passion today. You are speaking from deep within you. But yes, Christmas is coming. Over the last few nights around our house, and I'm sure probably every home in Castleberry, we have heard the fire truck. And it's not because anywhere's burning down. It's because the fire truck is escorting Santa around town. And I've heard lots of excitement around the young kids and some of the older kids as well. And honestly, some of the parents, because we're all getting excited about Christmas and in the Christmas spirit. Robin, what about you? Are you feeling the holiday spirit yet? Are you with us on that?
I am. Anytime it gets cold, it's always Christmas time. And I actually got to see Santa on his sleigh/fire truck the first night as I was waiting to pull into my complex.
Oh, you did? Did he tell you which list you're on?
He says we're in negotiations.
Well, no doubt you are certainly on the nice list, Robin. And Andy, we saw the Santa sleigh. We also had a conversation on our last episode. That's a plug for our episode with Lynn Hoppus, who is, I believe, an elf on that sleigh. And so we're appreciative of Lynn and all the city folks for putting on that event. You know, in this COVID-related season, we've got to be creative with how do we bring kind of Christmas spirit? How do we bring holiday spirit? And I'm very proud of our city and its citizens. Even walking around with my son last night, there was just clearly evidence. People have put up their Christmas lights and decor. And yeah, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas, somewhat normal, I would even say. But, you know, COVID kind of overrides and overrules lots of things in the days in which we live. But there has been some news, some big national, international news even. But Florida is very likely, according to the local news, going to be receiving some COVID-19 vaccines within maybe a few days, weeks, or months. Andy, what are your thoughts? And how do we process this news that there very well likely will be a vaccine right in our backyards in hand in a matter of TBD? don't know the exact time, but TBD.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very exciting. I mean, for several months now throughout this pandemic, we've been hanging a lot of our hope on a vaccine. So the fact that it's arrived, the fact that it's been approved by the appropriate authorities is very good news for us. I was following the news in England, of course, where my family is. And when they gave the vaccine to the first person, they were calling it V-Day for Victory Day, which was what they also named the day when World War II ended, right? So that kind of struck me as what a big deal it is that we have a vaccine. Now, I want to offer some caution with that as well. There's still a long way to go before we declare it safe to return to life. But as I was thinking about this today, I was on the phone call with a friend from Brazil, and I asked him about COVID and the vaccine over there. And he shared that before Brazil gets the vaccine, they've got to give it to people in England and America and Russia and China and all the economically stable countries. And that reminded me about how important it is that we distribute this vaccine with justice. I want to make sure that the needy and the vulnerable and the elderly get it before I go near it. And because I'm healthy, I want to make sure that those who have need get it before I do as well. So I'm very excited, but now I want to make sure that it goes to those who are most vulnerable, and hopefully we can integrate some of those folks back into society before it becomes available to all. So yeah, generally I'm positive, trying to temper my expectations and wanting to ensure that we distribute it in a healthy and a fair and a just way.
That's well said. We need to continue to be safe and to be, like we've talked about many times on this program, to be mindful of those in our community. And the reality is that this virus is still very much active, very much alive. The case numbers are going up. And so until that vaccine is in place, until there are greater measures to ensure people's safety from contracting the virus and spreading it wide scale, we do need to be patient and understanding that these things take time. That being said, I'm very thankful that there are action steps being taken. This is worth celebrating, that a possible, maybe not permanent solution, but a possible resistance to this virus is well underway. And my hope and encouragement and expectation really is that our state, our country, and even more zoomed in, our community of Castleberry will, in the coming weeks and months, be able to move forward together. And that's kind of the theme of these discussions we've been having over these months during this pandemic is we've got to move forward together. If folks go rogue, if people are combative of one another and attacking and going after each other, that does no one good, and it only furthers the issues. Because we're all facing the issue. I know I sound like I'm preaching right now, but I'm very passionate that we come together in this. And the fact that a vaccine is on the way to Florida is exciting to see how can we come together to fight back against this virus. So good news coming down the path. Well, speaking of good news, Andy and Robin, we had the privilege of sharing and celebrating some very good news this past week. Our Community Member of the Month, the hottest new segment for Castleberry-related podcasts. We recognize those who are serving and leading in our community. And wow, what a fun afternoon it was to be with the two of you as we celebrated our December Community Member of the Month. We recognized the former mayor of Castleberry, Miss Charlene Glancy. Charlene won our December Community Member of the Month. We went to her shop there over across the street from Lake Concord Park, and which is, what is it called, Andy? Rhythm and Smooth, is that right?
Rhythm and Smooth, that's right. Yeah, which is two things that I don't have. So I was glad to spend some time there.
That's right. Well, we gave her a little certificate and a nice little coffee mug and some candy. And Mayor Charlene, or former Mayor Charlene, announced that she was very excited and very honored to receive that award. And of course, listeners, we are looking to hear from you. Let us know who you think deserves to be the next Community Member of the Month. Can let us know who you would like to nominate as those doing the good work of leading, serving, inspiring our city. You can do that through our different platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, our website, or our podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Castleberry. So congratulations, Charlene Glancy. We're proud of you, our Community Member of the Month. We'll be back with our interview with Arif Fareed. Today's sponsor is Deborah Morris Home Team, Keller Williams Advantage Realty. Deborah, we're so thankful for you and Chuck, your service and involvement in Castleberry and Central Florida as realtors. You can check out Deborah at her website, www.deborah, DEBORAH, morrishometeam.kw.com. And Andy and Robin, we have a new sponsor coming just around the corner. New sponsors coming. If you would like to be a future sponsor of this fast, exciting, growing podcast, reach out to us and we would love to connect with you. But we're thankful for our sponsor today, which is Deborah Morris Home Team. Now, time for our favorite part of each and every episode, and that is a conversation with a guest, a celeb from the Castleberry region and community. And we've got a man that fits that bill, a dear friend of mine, a longtime, really frankly, mentor, and someone I've looked up to through our interactions with the Castleberry Chamber of Commerce. We have as our guest today, Arif Fareed of Edward Jones Financial Advisors. Arif, welcome to the What's Up Castleberry podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. So that was a fantastic intro. I appreciate that.
Well, we try to make our guests feel, comfortable and confident. You were on Zoom doing this call, but you have the look of a man who is ready to take on the world. You've got your shirt, your tie, you dress very nicely, and you shared off air a little bit about the purpose behind your dress.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, the mindset is, if you're dressed for what you want to do, if you're at work and you're professionally dressed, then you're focused on work and your goal is to take care of what you're here for. If you're out in the park and having a picnic, you need to be dressed appropriately so you can chase the kids down and have a nice game of basketball or something. It's a mindset, and that's why they say, dress up, go to work, and put in a good day's work and do right by others.
Absolutely. So dressing for the part that, or the role that you're living out of, I would say, looking at myself in the Zoom call, I'm probably looking like I'm ready for 5 o'clock to hit and check out for the day. Well, Arif, we like to have our guests kind of break the ice, give our listeners a chance to get to know you just a little bit. So I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions, just kind of spout off what's on the top of the brain here with a little icebreaker challenge. So Arif, the holiday season, do you have a particular favorite food that you enjoy during the holidays?
Well, I've never missed a meal in my life. I love all kinds of food. But during the holidays, generally you seem to snack all day long. There's cookies all over the place. But with an Indian background, if I could have Indian samosas along with those cookies, that's going to make my day. If somebody has not had Indian samosas, you've not lived life. So
Yum.
Just contact me. I'll connect you with some good samosas.
Describe, what is a samosa?
Yeah, samosa is, it's a triangle shaped fried dough, which is stuffed with many different things. So we do potatoes and peas. We do chicken. You can do many ways of cooking the chicken, including the tandoori chicken, put it in there. And then you also do ground beef or ground lamb in there. And it's deep fried. It's definitely not what the doctor ordered, but it's definitely what your soul ordered. It's going to make you happy. And then obviously the spice helps it up.
Wow, that sounds so delicious. There we go. Great recommendation.
Those are all the snacking. And generally, during the holidays, like my personal holidays for Eid, we have a traditional biryani. It's a dish very popular in the East. And it's basically rice with different meats and layered with rice. It's like a lasagna of rice. And then it's steamed and you eat that. That's for the Eids. And then generally for Thanksgiving or Christmas, turkey is probably the top of the list. But we have adapted over the years. We've had the steak and Cornish hens a couple of times.
Yeah, nice. Always willing to try new things. Well, Arif, you are going to talk about your family in a minute. But as we think about this holiday season, is there a tradition that you and your children and spouse and maybe extended family like to partake and celebrate?
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up in India, a lot of different traditions. I had in the town I live in, it was predominantly Hindus, but there was Christians and Muslims, and there was a lot of British influence. So during the holidays, we celebrated with the Christian friends. We visited different homes and things like that. But generally, right after Christmas, all the three groups would meet together, and the big celebration was for the New Year's. And one of the things that we used to do, and kind of cracked me up, I was thinking about it, is we would make a scarecrow and try to make it look human and put a pot as the head with some paintings on it. And we'd stuff it with hay and we'd put firecrackers in it. And then right at the stroke of midnight, we'll light it up. And that was what everybody was waiting for the whole week to end the year out with a bang. But here now, my tradition generally is once I got married, I followed a few of my wife's traditions, and over the years, we have adapted our family traditions. Initially, I used to work at Target, so Christmas Day was most of the time events because I used to work Christmas Eve and I'd be exhausted. Christmas Day was what we would do, open the gifts, things like that. Now, over time, kids have grown, so we have started with Christmas Eve and worked into Christmas Day. And generally, it's family time, eating a lot of food, and then watching some Christmas movies.
Nice. So you really unique in that you have some traditions that are specific to being from India and from your faith, as well as now probably more recently, some more quote unquote American traditions. So I like you kind of have the best of both worlds a little bit.
Absolutely. And my kids they get to celebrate so many holidays, so they get more gifts than the average person does.
Yes, that's a good thing too. Arif, would you tell Andy and I just a bit about your family, and then maybe specifically your involvement in Castleberry, which is pretty cool.
So I was born in India, and I came to the U.S. in 1990. And I come from a big family, as we were talking earlier. So I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. So my mom lives right here in Winter Springs with us. And I have 2 brothers in Florida. And I have a brother that lives in Dubai, a brother lives in Finland, a brother that lives in India, and a sister that lives in Muscat. So I came in 1990. I've lived in Memphis, Chicago, Las Vegas, and now I've been in Winter Springs since 2003. Now, I met my wife in Chicago, and we've been married for 26 years. And a little funny story, when I first met my wife, the first question was, how do you pronounce your name? So the name is Arif Fareed. So I had to explain that. And my favorite sport is tennis, and my favorite player is Roger Federer. And if you ever see Roger Federer play, he has a hat with an RF on it. So I told her, you just need to say R and F for Roger Federer. That's how she remembered my name. So the name Arif, it's Arabic. It means knowledgeable. And the word Fareed, the last name, that means unique. So I told my wife, you married a knowledgeable, unique guy. And she just laughs it off. And I bet you, Drew and Andy, when you guys met me, you said, this guy looks like a knowledgeable, unique guy. Didn't you?
That's exactly what I thought, Arif. Yeah.
Exactly.
Another little tidbit, hidden information about you. You and I share the same birthday.
That's right.
I'm sure I'm several years older than you, but...
So I've been married for like 26 years. The same woman. She loves me to death. She puts up with me. And then we have 2 lovely children, adult children. My daughter is Alia, and she's followed my footsteps. And now she's become a financial advisor with Edwin Jones. And she joined my practice, and she's going to be starting full-fledged next year. And then I have a son. He has gone down the path of my brother, who is a pilot at Southwest Airlines. And he's in the flight school right now and just completed his twin-engine commercial pilot's license. So he should be going in the career of being a pilot.
Wow. Amazing. What a wonderful story. And I'm very thankful that you have a Florida Gator in your family too, being a fellow myself.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm a Gator dad.
Gator Dad. You and I met through the Chamber of Commerce as you were the president when I joined. And as I said at the top, just immediately inspired by your passion and your motivation to see the business community really come and rally around our community. With the numerous roles you played within the Chamber, what's maybe something that you are really proud of that you've seen the Castleberry Chamber do, and just some of your relationships that have been formed there?
I've been generally in the Castle Bay area, in the communities for over a decade now, once I started my practice with Edward Jones. And I was thinking about all my roles that I've done. And I just thought, let me pencil down a couple of things that I'm doing right now. So I'm currently the past president of the Castle Chamber of Commerce, which is my favorite, and I'll tell you why. And then also I'm on a board for Seminole County Public Schools Advisory Board, where we try to help the school system, gives us some ideas. Mm-hmm. I'm also on the board for the Seminole State Advisory Board, and we help small businesses with many aspects of successful growth in their practice. And then I'm pretty active in a group called Sertoma, and that stands for Service to Mankind. And their main goal is to provide for the hearing impaired. I'm pretty active over there. And they actually have a golf tournament coming up in January. So if any golfers are out there, just reach out to me. I'm also part of the Castleberry Community Forum, which is one of the favorites that I like because it has the city, all religious organizations, the school system all in there, and just sharing updates of what's happening in the community so we can help each other out. And then one of the things that I'm actively involved in is my community, which is the American Muslim Community Center. I'm a member there, and I try to volunteer as much as possible over there. And one of the things that we recently did from American Muslim Community Center is we kind of participate with the Seminole County Election Board and provide volunteers to go and work the election. And I happen to be the clerk at the Sanford precinct for the past presidential election. And then from my professional side at work, I'm currently the inclusion and diversity leader for the Orlando area. And the main goal for us is to just get diversity of thought and inclusion in action over there. But as you were saying, Drew, Castleberry Chamber is probably my favorite. Just because the field that I'm in, being in the financial field, I want to make sure that the local businesses that are part of the chamber are successful. So when they're successful, it filters down to the community. They can hire more folks and they can give them a higher pay raise depending on how successful they are. So being on the chamber is probably my favorite.
So, Arif, you've obviously very, very involved in our city and our county and things like that. If you had unlimited time and unlimited resources, what would you like to build or create or give to our Castleberry community?
Wow, that is a good question. So there's a lot of things that pops up in my head. But since I'm in the financial field, I think the one thing that we could focus on is financial literacy. I have seen and come across quite a few folks that the knowledge of finance is not as what it should be. We learn it as we go along in life. I think there should be a structured teaching that when you get out of high school, you know how to balance a checkbook. You know what a debit and a credit is. You know your credit score. You know what you need to do to buy your first home. These are things nobody teaches. It just comes by chance, either through your parents, through the church, through the community members. I think if you do a structured learning practice over there, that will provide this information to the community. Because at the end of the day, the financial engine, the economic engine is what makes the community stronger. And then you can go into other avenues of community service. So that is what I would probably do, is to find a platform to provide financial literacy.
I like that. Arif, you've demonstrated that through the fact that your next generation, your daughter, is following kind of in those footsteps. You and I have had conversations about your passion to kind of mentor that next generation and provide some of that literacy. When you're younger, you always want to be the go-ahead person to go and get things done, but as you get older and you mature out and you learn a few things, one of the things that we need to do is we need to have a bench. Teach them, be the mentors, be there to support them so they can carry the banter and trust me here, you're going to be a student for life, no matter what. You're going to be always learning something. But when you teach, you learn more.
because they will ask you these questions and you're like, wow, I never thought of it in that angle. And then you provide them the path and get out of the way, because the creativeness comes when you leave them in charge and you tell them, we trust you, do the right thing, and people amaze you.
I like that quote. When you teach, you end up being the one that learns more. That's good. Well, Arif, you are a part of a group that is very active in the community, not only of Castleberry, but of Longwood. And as a member of the American Muslim Community Center there, could you tell us about some of the things that group that you all are doing in Longwood and the surrounding area?
Sure, absolutely. Just a little background on our faith. As Islamic practicing Muslim, we are all required to give 2.5% of our net worth, not our salary, in charity to help the poor and the needy. So when we started the community center in Longwood, the community members have been providing financial support. Now, not everybody can provide that based on their own financial needs. So we generally are required to give that and help. And the other way to do is provide service to the community is through volunteering. So we have provided a lot of sources in the community center to be able to do feeding the homeless. We do that in Orlando. And we have a prison outreach to provide some group lessons there. We have interfaith programs to get to know each other in the community. We do the Sharing Ramadan program every year, and we do outreach to churches. We do youth counseling, which is a key aspect of the future. And then also we have recently started a free health clinic. So one of the things that we believe, which is that 2.5% that we are supposed to give in charity, which is called zakat, it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. We also believe in something called continuous charity, which is sadaqah. So continuous charity basically means is provide an avenue that can continuously provide. So one of the things we try to do is maybe sponsor a school or an orphanage where that help you're going to provide them will continue to go filter down for generations. You know, the adage about don't give him a fish, but show him how to fish. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So we have started this American Muslim Community Center with a health clinic, which is the American Muslim Community Clinic, provides free care to the community. And obviously there is a criteria to meet that requirement. The criteria is you have to have an annual household income of 200% of poverty, and you have to be over 18 years of age, and you should have no insurance. So we've been providing, it's through volunteerism from the community doctors and members who do the help in the community. And one of the things that we have done due to COVID that has come through is we have done over 2,500 free COVID testing so far. And currently we're working on giving free flu shots for the community. And this is not just for the Muslim community, it's for anybody in Seminole County can come, and it's on our website. You can come and participate in that, and it's a great service. And that is the sadaqah that we are trying to do. Is it's continuous forever, as long as there's people helping out, providing services, and obviously financial help too, because all of this costs money. We will be providing this service for the community. And one of the things when this thing all happened is the city of Sanford, we were in partnership with them, and they provided us a free ambulance. So we have converted that ambulance into a free mobile clinic.
That's amazing. And I just want to say as a Christian pastor, our community is better because of what you and your community are doing. And just so grateful for that and the service it provides for so many. I noticed on your website that your community is in the process of hiring a new imam. And one of his responsibilities is to build bridges in the community. Both Drew and I are big believers in bridge building. Why do you think it's so important to build bridges in a community like ours?
My mom has this line that she always uses, which is all 5 fingers are not equal, but they're all fingers. All have the same needs and desires. Doesn't matter where we come from, what our background is. And the needs are pretty simple. Family stability, financial stability, a great education for our kids, just want to worship how we want to, live in a comfortable environment, safe environment. This is everybody's needs. But what happens is we are into this identity crisis. So when we start looking for differences among ourselves, instead of what makes us similar. So the bridge building that we think is necessary is to get to know each other as individuals first. We don't need to have an identity that Andy is a pastor. That's why I need to get to know him. I need to know Andy as a person and then get to know him. And there are things that we may never agree to, disagree to agree, right? Agree to disagree. There might be some points over there, but having a conversation is the first. End of the day, my mom always says this, my mom is one of the mentors. She always has this adage, gives all this advice all the time. End of the day, you're going to go into this little hole, 6x2. The only thing you're going to take with you is the deeds you did while you were alive. That reminds me, Muhammad Ali once said, I think service to others is the rent you pay for your room on earth. So we need to make sure about that. So it's just not about our own community, it's the community at large. Because when everybody succeeds, then the community will succeed better. So building bridges, having conversations, and I applaud what you are doing here. This is a great avenue, a podcast, bringing in speakers with different backgrounds, different thought process. As the inclusion and diversity leader for Edward Jones in Orlando, my main focus is inclusion first, diversity next. And you're looking for diversity of thought, not diversity of skin color or your diet or your background. All those are important, don't get me wrong. But the diversity of thought, why does somebody think differently? Because this is the background they come from. Again, they look at the common things that we have that makes us bind us and makes us stronger than the differences. And if there's any differences, let's embrace it.
I love that. Arif, how can people connect with you, with Edward Jones, or even with the American Muslim Community Center?
You can connect with me personally. I can be reached very easily. I'm always in the community. You can connect me by phone. I'm also on Facebook. So just connect me on Facebook and we can chat. Professionally, my office is right here in the Maitland area. But I'm part of the Castleberry city. That's why my heart belongs in Castleberry, even though I have clients from all over. And then regarding the American Community Center, I'm an active member. You can just go reach out to me and I can set up a tour for you to take a look at the community center or the clinic. But if you want to check them out, you can go to their website. The American Muslim Community Center website is amccenters.org. And if you want to check out the clinic, it's amssclinic.org. My cell phone number, you can reach out to me, 407-687-2188, anytime you want. You can just Google me and I'll be right there, or reach out to Andy and Drew and we can connect.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Yes, please, listeners, reach out to Arif. He is a man worth getting to know and is a real bridge builder and leader in our community. Arif, thank you for your time today. Thank you, Arif. That was fantastic. Many quotes and many noteworthy quotes from his time with us today, Andy. You've got big shoes to fill, my friend, as you close out our episode with another inspiring moment.
Today's quote carries a lot of encouragement as well. It's from a gentleman, I believe you pronounce his name Nido Quibin, and he says this: your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you can start. Let me say that again. Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you can start. This has been a tough year for us. Our circumstances have not been easy. They've put many of us in difficult places. But just because we're in a difficult place doesn't get to determine that we will have a difficult future. These challenges of 2020 are just a starting place for us, for what we hope will be a new and exciting, a prosperous year for all of us. As we begin 2021, let's do so with some hope, with some optimism, and with some excitement, because what we've experienced doesn't need to define the future. It's just a launch pad for the great things that are ahead. Once again, your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start.
Thank you, Andy. I am definitely inspired. I'm fired up. And that was a neato quote from Mr. Neato. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Castleberry podcast, a casual conversation about our community. This podcast has been produced with Robin Kepi as our lead director. For more information, please check out our website, Facebook, Instagram, podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Castleberry. Like and subscribe to our podcast. Invite a friend to join us. And until next time, have a great week.